Good afternoon, folks. It's me, Paddy, from across the Shuck, and I've got the second part of yesterday's video. And thank you for all those who watched it. It was a real good turnout. You know, there was 500 odd watched that, and I'm over the moon with that. And I just want to get the British name of knives out there. And yesterday, yes, I was showing off some of my really nice ones that I have, and I make no apologies for that. I mean, this is my hobby, and I just, I do it the best I can. It's taken me years to build up my collection. I don't have the money just to go out and willy-nilly pay for it, but it's taken me years. And in between getting these lovely new and custom ones from Ashley, I love the second-hand market. And I've been using it so long now. Etsy is getting better again. It went down there. There was a slump where nobody was selling on Etsy. It's now coming back again. And a lot of these knives that you're going to see in front of you, I bought off Etsy. But I also joined Facebook groups. I don't use Facebook. Let's just make this particularly clear, especially for maybe the older generation that's out there. I just don't use Facebook. But I do use it for knives. I don't have any. What can I say about Facebook? I have no interest in what goes on Facebook, other than the fact that I can go on there. I can join Facebook groups that are for either Sheffield knives or British-made knives. Most British-made knives are Sheffield anyway, but there's plenty of groups out there. It's just a matter of going on Facebook and typing in antique British knives. Whatever you want to put in there, just put, Sheffield knives, and you'll get groups, Facebook groups that come up on there, and just pick one or two, join them, partake in the group, and then that's where you'll find these knives on the second-hand market the best you can. And let's be honest, if you go on to Etsy, bargain. Do not take the price that's in front of you, because a lot of the knife sellers on Etsy here in the UK, and that's all I'm talking about, they think old is expensive, which if you're in knives anyway, it doesn't necessarily follow that. So they put high prices on them. Bargain. I literally bargain them down, and then if I don't get them down to where I want them, I just leave it, and then they'll maybe come back to you, or you'll see after 3 months they're still there, and then you can go back and say, I offered you this a while ago. Now it's obviously still overpriced. Here's my new price if you'll accept it. That's the way I do it, and I make no bones. I mean, everybody's got to make a living. I can understand that. And these boys that are selling them they want to make some money on them. But I'm not going to pay inflated prices for knives that are not rare or anything like that. They're just older knives. There's not a high price in these. Don't pay a high price. Now, and I'm saying that, and I have paid higher prices for things that I just don't see very often. Like I got this lovely Taylor's Eyewitness. Probably paid more for this, but I paid more for it for a reason, because it's one of the teak plankings of the Royal Yacht Britannia. Do you know what I mean? So I have picked up ones. This George Wolstenholme one, I got at an amazing price at the Sharp Show last year. So there's certain ones here that, and this one I got, I think it was I can't remember, it was about 40 or 50 pound, and it's a real inbox, and I'll show that one last, just in case there's people who haven't seen them. But yes, I do spend most of my money on these sort of things from Ashley Harrison. This one's in ebony and a beautiful big spay. This is his Lanny's Clip, version of a Lanny's Clip. These two in hand are just the most comfortable, solid, hard-working knives with O1 tool steel. They'll take on any job that I'll ever have to use a knife for. I love them. And I'll every time I get enough money to buy one, I'll try and order one off Ashley. And I don't get them next week like people think I do. Sometimes I have to wait just as long as anybody else to get one. But I've built up the trust with Ashley that, I'll buy his knives. I'm good for whatever I say. If I order something, I'm not going to do it. Because the worst thing you can do to a custom maker is order a knife, have him make it for you, and then say, oh, sorry, I can't afford it now. You're not going to stay on the books for very long, because that man's put his time and effort into that knife for you, and then he has to resell it. So that's one of the tips. If you're going to buy a custom knife off, especially small custom makers, don't let them down. If you're going to buy it and you say you bought it, that's it. Buy it. Don't change your mind, or if you've run out of money, if you've got the money at the time, put a deposit down on it. That'll encourage you to finish it off, or you don't get your deposit back. It's just, you have to gain trust with a lot of, small knife makers just can't afford picky people. And I can be picky. Don't get me wrong, I can be picky. There's lots of knives I've let go on, sorry, not on Facebook, but well, yeah, I have on Facebook if I think somebody's overpricing something, but especially on Etsy when they're just dealers and some of them don't know that much about knives. They just find out what age it is and think, oh, that's got to be expensive, and put a price down. So do a wee bit of homework on what you would pay elsewhere. Have a look and see if you can get, two people, play them off against each other if you like. But that's the whole point of second-hand buying, is just using your noggin and buying what you like. And they don't have to be big fancy knives. Things like this, I love collecting these. Dewar's whiskey, these little pen knives, and they're fantastic little knives. And you can buy them and they're like new. This one is a John Watts, an old Sheffield maker. Fantastic little knife. I love these sort of knives, these collection knives. Look at this one. I just love this. Oatbrig's Lung Tonic. I think it's absolutely fantastic for coughs and colds. I just love this sort of thing. They're solid metal, stainless steel, and their blades are not stainless steel. They're mostly carbon, but they are just super. And you're getting a full blade there. It hasn't lost anything. Snap's still in it. And you can pick these up for 20 quid. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want to be looking for if you're building a second-hand collection of British knives. Sheffield knives, again, mostly all the knives are bought. This is Needham Brothers. Beautiful little piece of just cow's bone, and it's aged. Look at that yellow color. It would have been white bone when it started, and you can see how it's aged over the years. Lovely little tiny end caps on these. Love the look of these tiny end caps. I really wish more makers would do this now. I think it just, especially in a small knife, it really is pretty. Just a super little knife, and to use, these are not ones to stick in. You can use this, I mean, you take a lot of people take a case peanut or something out with them as a secondary knife. I would rather take one of these and do. But other things that you can buy out there, yesterday we were talking a lot about the manufacturers still making. I mean, there's an Arthur Wright. This one's in, I think it would have been buffalo horn. But look, you can see the way it has died off over the years. It's just, you can see the outline of what normally buffalo horn you would have this sort of reaction on it. But this is sort of worn out, the cover. But the knife is just immaculate. It's hardly been used. Look at that blade. You can see there's not much off that blade, and that beautiful clip point, going back. This is an Arthur Wright. Now, they only started in 1947, so you're not going to be going back, 100 years. I mean, they're getting on now. 1947, I mean, you're talking, 70-odd-year-old knives if you're getting an early model. But isn't that just a beautiful knife? Yes, it's not resplendent in its original colour. It's not shining. I've tried everything I could to bring the shine back. You can't. But this is a beautiful, and your users, now you'll see these ones that have been sharpened. These are ones I actually take out and use. I know I've got really expensive knives, but I still like taking this out. If it's a rough job, I'll just take this out. It's a carbon steel. It's not going to last me that long, but it's going to last me, and I can resharpen it in seconds. That's the whole point of the older knives. They can resharpen. Here's another beautiful one here. And this is an Arthur Wright too, but this has got the plastic scales on it and a shield. Again, lovely looking. It's just imitation, but and they still sell these now today, the scale. And it's a fantastically comfortable scale with a little lamb's foot. And over in the UK, if you're not from here, we use the lamb's foot an awful lot more than what we would use the Wharncliffe or the sheep's foot. This lamb's foot is a very, very popular blade because it can get in places. It's easy to work with. This is a beautiful knife, and yet it's plastic and, a cheaper steel. It's just cheaper steels, but they sharpen up fantastic. Here's another one that I've just got recently, and I got this one off Etsy. I believe it was Etsy. Look at this slim Tailor's Eyewitness. You can see the old markings there. There we go, Tailor's Eye. That's the old markings. And then on the secondary blade, they put the eye. Let me just get that up to you, and I'll see if I can get that so that you can see it. There you go. There you go. The Eyewitness Sheffield. Plenty of blade left on that, and plenty of blade. That's a full blade nearly on that. What a super slim little knife. Beautiful. This is what they call more of a gentleman's knife. And rightly so, because they are gentlemanly looking. Let me just get this back out again. So yeah, so you can get this. This is in ebony. Absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous knife. And again, it didn't cost much. I'm not like I'm not one of these people that keep the prices of what I pay for them. I never do. It's just I just buy them. Once I bought them, they're bought. I don't really care about resale because these are not resale knives. These are knives that I want to keep. I got this one recently this is in buffalo horn. You can see the feathering. It's not really highly feathered. Now it looks more in real life than it does. You can see the feather in there, and there's more light feathering down here, which you're not sort of going to get to see with my crappy camera. Elan. So just fantastic. Love collecting it. This is an Ettrick, which is an old pattern. You can still buy these brand new from Arthur Wright. Really great whittling knife. Really great whittling knife. And I got one from, well, I got a half hook from Beth. And I'm going to use them when I'm starting my whittling when me and Justin are out. Start putting them to use. Again, here's another for a pipe smoker. So you've got your pipe blade there. I just think this is beautiful. Look at that. And this one is by Rogers of Sheffield. And it's like it was made yesterday. It's beautiful. I got this in the second-hand market on Etsy. And then you have the pipe cleaner. But that can be used for so many things. That is a really useful tool. That is a weapon. That is literally a weapon. If you're self-defense orientated, a wee pipe smoker's knife, it's a weapon. That is lethal. Not that I would ever use anything as a weapon, but you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. It's a stag, lovely old stag, beautiful knife. Again, cost not very much at all. So, I mean, and what I want to get across in this is if you want to collect British knives, there's enough makers out there now, like the Edington Group, which do Rogers and, oh God, I'm terrible for remembering blooming names. Rogers and, let me just, this is another, I can't think of the name. They're gone from the top of my head, but George Wolstenholme. Look at that for a beautiful knife. And that's what you can get at the Edington Group. This one is a second-hand one. This is a fair age on this one. Again, beautiful white bone on that. Just beautiful. And this was a gift. It's the only knife on the table that was a gift. This was from Frank over at Framar Knives. He sent me it as a Christmas present. I just adore this knife. And this is used. All my used ones will be sharp, and all the ones that I use. And I'm going to go to my most used one, which is this one. And this is in bone, or horn, I should say. But look at that feathering on that there. Is that not just gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. This one's sharp because I take it out and I use it. You can see the good edge. When you see a good edge on them, that's the ones I use regularly. Listen to that snap. This is a much older knife. This is a William Rogers. Just an amazing knife. I got this on Etsy too, I believe. Lovely full four-finger grip and that lovely spear, which will do anything. It'll do absolutely anything you want it to do. And you can hear the snap on them. The one thing that I love about British Barlows is 9 times out of 10, they're going to have great snap on them. Super snap on them. And here's an older, I can't tell you how many people have wanted to buy this knife. Out of all the knives in my collection, I've had more people wanted to buy this little knife, and especially people from this country, because they're getting harder and harder to find. It's a very basic little pen knife, a very useful basic little pen knife. Them two blades, they will cover anything in your day. You have a bit of belly in this one, a nice point on that one, but this is ERA James Barber, Sheffield. And they are getting so hard to find. Used to be you could find them all over the place, but people who have bought them are not letting them go now. It's just a little stunner. And it's so good for the fifth pocket. What else have we got there? I think I've gone through most. Oh no, the Wolstenholme will show you that this is This is one of my favourite. I got at Sharp Show at a really good price. It's brand new in box. And there you can see George Wolstenholme. You can see his mark. I'm not going to, you can take my word for it, it's George Wolstenholme. But it's a lovely big, look at the blade on that. What a beautiful blade. And to be new old stock is just fantastic because you're getting the full experience. It's a single blade. It's pretty much up the centre. It's not that far out. It's a thin channel. But the jigging on the bone, which is my thing, is just amazing. Is that Rogers jig? I'm not sure what that is. But honestly, I could sit with this in my hand. And I do often when I take it out and carry it, and I'll just sit and stroke it. It is beautiful. Soothing. It's my worry stone. And last of all that I'm going to show you is this little one. This is one I literally just got recently, and I got it for a really great deal. Look at that mother of pearl. Again, you're not going to see the colours that are on this. It has got so many different colours, the purples, the greens. It is just a beautifully finished, brand new old stock. And look at that finish on that little tiny knife. I mean, there's my little finger. It's about as big as my little finger. It is just stunning. Two tiny little blades. Oh, and they've got some snap in them. Look at that. Absolutely mint condition. And this is a George Wolstenholme as well. So there's plenty of knives out there. And I keep it in here. I keep this in here because it's so delicate and I don't want to break it. You know, none of these will be for sale. These are just my collection. And sort of one that goes back to my Navy days. This one here I got on the secondary market. I think I might even have traded for this. In fact, I got it on one of the Sheffield groups. This is made with the teak of the decking boards for the Royal Yacht Britannia. And I have the authenticity sheet. This was a gentleman, I've forgotten his name now, but he was in the UK. He used to buy, these are basic Arthur Wright Barlows, the little sort of pen blade type blade. And he used to buy these and then change the scales. He had a knack of finding really good wooden scales, and he would have changed them for these. And this he had managed to get from one of the chippies that worked on the Royal Yacht Britannia when it was decommissioned. And these were some old teak, couple of old teak planks I had kept in the stores just in case they would need them. Once it was decommissioned, that was it, they were gone. And he managed to get a plank of it. And I don't think he got a full plank, but he got a whack of it anyway. And it's a ship I had been on, and it was in service when I was in service, both as a hospital ship and as a working royal ship. The Queen's favourite toy she ever had in her life. She just loved that yacht. And it was a lovely yacht to go on and have a look round. A beautiful place to bring dignitaries when they went abroad. So, I mean, I am so proud to have this in my collection. And the bloke that made it actually commented in the video, which was nice. He doesn't do it anymore. But look at that. Isn't that just mint? And that's just an old Arthur Wright basic Barlow. But you stick a plank from the Royal Yacht Britannia to someone like me who's an ex-sailor, that is just a godsend. That's priceless to me. That's just amazing. So yes, I do love my expensive ones. And when I have the money, I don't go and buy 3 or 4 cheaper knives. Whenever I have the money in my pocket that's good enough to buy a knife that I want, I buy it. Because I know for a fact if I hold off for a week and buy even one cheaper knife and say, oh, I'll save up and get, I never do. I end up, if I've got money in my pocket, I'll end up buying 3 other knives if I don't see something that I like that's more expensive. So that's my way of collecting. The money's in my pocket, I buy a good one. If I don't have much money, I buy a second-hand one because I still need that rush. After 7 years of proper collecting, I still need that rush of finding a new knife, buying a new knife. And you don't have to go expensive. And that's the joy of any knife collecting, whether it be modern knives or older knives, or modern or traditional knives. There's older ones that are on the second-hand market. And if that's what you can afford, don't be frightened, because you can have a flipping excellent collection that people will be jealous of, and you've maybe not spent more than £40 or £50 on a knife, but most of them will be the 20 to 30 mark. even £10. You used to be able to pick these up for about a tenner. So, but you can have a collection to be proud of that's maybe not high end, but who cares? This is a collecting that most people miss out on because they're going for this higher end one. I've always had a bit of both, and because I like a bit of both. Not everybody's going to, but even if you don't like modern knives, this is where you want to head to. And this is the sort of collection you can build up. You can have maybe one or two really nice ones and fill your collection up with these, because they're every bit as nice to use. They're every bit as nice to look at, to stroke. I mean, just get out there, have a look. If you can't afford it, don't worry about it. And if you've got a YouTube channel, don't always be rushing to buy brand new knives for the channel. Take a step back and buy ones that are a year or 2 years. They're out, they've been sold for 2 years. You can buy them cheaper. All right, you're not going to get that initial bump when somebody wants to see a new knife, but not many of us are going to. It's only the first one that gets that big hit of subs, or not subs, views. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about views. There'll always be views for knives, no matter what they are, because there's plenty of people like me who like everything. Doesn't matter what it is, everything. I collect old American knives. And I'm going to do a series now. I've done 2 on the British, and I'm going to do 2 on the American ones that I collect. And not necessarily ones they're being made now. They're definitely going to be second-hand, a lot of them, because that's what I love. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this wee 2-set series. I'll do one on American ones, and then I'll maybe do a European one. In fact, I will do a European one because I've enough European knives to put out. A lot of them are secondary, but there's some really nice ones that I've paid good cash for. And we'll do that over the next few Saturdays. We'll do Saturday and Sunday, sorry. We'll do American next week, and then we'll do European the following week. I'm enjoying doing them. I hope you're enjoying watching them. This is a beautiful collection I'm every bit as proud of as my fancy boxes, which are up there. And that is the genuine truth. I'm every bit as proud of this little collection. I've more there. I could put a stack down here. But you know what I'm saying. Just get out there and hunt. The hunt is a blessing. It takes up your time. It keeps your mind active. It excites me. It probably excites me more because they're harder to find. That is the joy of knife. That buzz when you find something. So there you go, folks. I'm away, enough waffling. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one as much as you did yesterday. Take care. Bye-bye now.